Good morning, it's today again. Welcome back to Joseph's Reserves. I'm Joseph, and I store 20% of my income in the form of rare coins and precious metals. And this is probably the worst silver purchase I've ever made. Not because I got scammed or overpaid or because it's fake. Actually, I bought this completely knowing it was a bad investment. And honestly, I'd probably buy it again. But today I want to talk about the difference between stacking silver and buying something simply because you love it. Congratulations to Barefoot Billy Music for being the first to comment on my video yesterday. Thank you so much for the support. Today's video is going to be a little bit different because it's not really about the spot price or stacking strategies or what silver products make the most financial sense. This is about one silver item in my collection that makes no sense financially, but I still absolutely love owning it. This is a limited edition solid sterling silver Rubik's Cube that contains 1.5 pounds of pure silver weight. Since that is the avoirdupois pound, that actually is equivalent to around 21 ounces of silver. This was originally assayed around $10,000 in 1995. However, they're not nearly that collectible. They actually go for more close to the scrap silver weight. So the story behind this actually starts in the coin shop where I work. One of these came into the shop a while back, and the moment I saw it, I immediately wanted it. Not because it was a good silver buy or it was low premium or had this rare collectability, I just wanted it. And honestly, I think a lot of collectors understand that feeling. The problem was I didn't have the money at the time, so I started saving up and planning for it, and eventually it sold before I could get the money. Well, eventually the person who had originally sold the cube to the shop came back in, and apparently they had a few more of them, and they still do. We had already talked before about how badly I wanted the first one, so when he brought in another one, I happened to be there and I was able to make a deal with him one-on-one. I was able to offer him more than the shop, which was a good deal for both me and him. But here is where this becomes the worst silver purchase I've probably ever made. This cube is sterling silver, not pure silver, and that matters a lot. Sterling silver is only 92.5% silver, which means if I ever sold this, I would probably just get scrap value for it. In today's market, that's close to 70% of the spot price. And no one who's buying scrap silver is going to care at all that it's a Rubik's Cube. All they care about is how much silver is in this thing. But here's the interesting part. I already knew all of this before I bought it. This wasn't ignorance, it wasn't a mistake, this wasn't me getting caught up in some sort of hype. I knowingly bought something that was financially inefficient. And the reason why is because Rubik's Cubes actually have a personal connection to me. About 10 years ago, I used to compete in Rubik's Cube competitions. I was really into speed cubing. My fastest time was actually around 27 seconds. Today I'm probably closer to 45 to 55 seconds, but still. It looks like each of these pieces is right around 1 ounce of silver, which does make sense. There's 20 of these pieces on the entire cube, so that plus the core would probably be another ounce there, so that's how we get the 21 ounces. And before anyone asks me in the comments, yes, I have already mixed this up and solved it. It took me about 5 minutes to do this one, just because of how uncomfortable it is to handle because of the weight of the whole thing. But I do actually have some pieces of the rest of my collection here. This is a standard 3x3 Rubik's Cube. I also have some other sizes like this 2x2, a 4x4, and even a 9x9. And again, before the comments hit me of this one's not even solved, that one takes me about 4 hours to do. So I don't really do that one very often. But I will go ahead and mix this up and show you guys that I do in fact know how to solve these things. And this is actually the first time that I've timed myself doing this in probably a couple years. Rubik's Cubes were actually the basis of my first YouTube channel that I started, I want to say about 15 years ago. I think I made something like 10 videos showing my collection and just videos of me solving them. And I want to say my best video got somewhere around 16 views. So, needless to say, me doing Rubik's Cubes was never quite about the YouTube or the performance of it. I just truly enjoy doing it. And honestly, I think this brings up a really important lessons for collectors and stackers. Not every silver purchase has to be perfectly optimized. Not every ounce has to be about maximizing the returns, and not every item has to beat the spot price. Sometimes it's okay just to buy something simply because you enjoy it. But I do want to make an important caveat here. I think purchases like this really only make sense if your financial foundation is already solid, meaning you have your bills handled, your emergency fund exists, and your stack is already established. Because if you're buying novelty silver items before building an actual financial security, that's probably a little bit backwards. And of course, I'm not a financial advisor, so don't take this as financial advice. Even if I was a financial advisor, I'm not your financial advisor. So if you are looking for advice, please go out and do your own research or find a financial advisor that will actually be able to answer those questions for you. Just know that things like this should never replace the core of stacking. This is like the dessert, not the meal. And honestly, this cube is probably going to be the last thing I would ever sell if I ever get to that point. Because at a certain point, collections become personal, and the emotional value starts to outweigh the melt value. I think a lot of stackers eventually go through this phase where they realize that there's a difference between stacking, investing, and collecting. Stacking is about wealth preservation, investing is about the returns, and collecting is about the passion, owning something that you really like. And sometimes those overlap, but sometimes they absolutely do not. So, yeah, financially speaking, this is probably one of the worst silver purchases I've ever made, but personally, I absolutely love it. And honestly, I think there's room in this hobby for both logic and passion. I just made my own line of coffee, now available on my website with other merchandise at josephsreserves.com. Every morning is a gift. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, today. It's Today Again is a reminder that God has given us this day once more, with new mercy, new opportunity, and real work to be done. It's the moment to show up, build good habits, and take hold of what's been placed in front of us. Whether it's putting in the work, staying disciplined, saving consistently, or simply choosing to be faithful in the small things, today is where it starts. Encourage one another daily as long as it is called today. Hebrews 3:13. So, take a breath, take a sip, and let's get to work. It's Today Again. You can now write me at Joseph's Reserves, 10160 Highway 242, Suite 800, number 401 in Conroe, Texas, zip code 77385. Make sure to include your information so I can write you back. If you like this video, make sure to go down and hit the like button. Go into the comment section to share your ideas about this topic. Share the video with anyone you think may like it, and subscribe if you haven't already. But most of all, thank you so much for watching. And just remember, every ounce adds up. So no matter how small, just keep stacking.